You're listening to a Listen Frederick podcast. Local podcasts, live radio. It's Listen Frederick.
And now, your host of Steeples and Peoples podcast to tell you about all things Frederick County, Maryland. Here's Mark and Terry Meriday.
Slytherin, Griffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Harry, Hermonie, Ron, Hagrid, Dementors, and the list goes on and on. Harry Potter has been one of the most engaging movies for the last several years, reaching generations and captivating minds alike. On this episode, the Steeples and Peoples podcast talks with Nate Johnson. Although a realtor by trade, he is the owner and headmaster at Wizard's Escape, an adventurous bed and breakfast tucked away in Adamstown, Maryland. Nate talks about what led him to the idea of creating the mystical property and what is included in the adventure. He shares with us what plans he has for Phase 2 and all the amenities that are included with your stay. Gather your family and friends, put on your cloak, jump on your Nimbus 2000, and head over to Wizard's Escape for the journey of a lifetime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Steeples and Peoples podcast. One of my favorite movies that I read all the books for is Harry Potter. Terry, remember when I was reading all those books?
I do. I remember buying them for you.
Well, we've kind of stumbled across a really cool location locally in Frederick County. Ties in with Harry Potter, to be quite honest with you. It's magnificent to look at, and it's awesome to just, I can imagine what it's like to take part in this. Terry, tell everybody where we are, Terry.
We are in an Airbnb owned by Nate Johnson, founder and creator, the idea maker of this place. And the address is 2772 Washington Street in Adamstown, and it's called Wizard's Escape. Thank you for joining us, Nate.
Yeah.
Can you tell us,
excited to be here and talk with you guys.
Oh, good. Before this house came to fruition, a little bit about you, where you were maybe born and raised, your background, your job.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for letting me share this story of the Wizard's Escape. It's been I guess it's been a year since we started this project, and been very stressful and amazingly exciting also, all rolled into one. And really, this whole project kind of starts back. I've been in real estate for 20 years. Seems like a long time, but I got into real estate right out of college. And I actually was a sport management major, went to Liberty University, and thought I was going to be working with the Redskins, right? Working with the pro team.
Yeah.
And I guess luckily I never got those internships. And I went back my fifth year at Liberty and did my internship with sports management with the men's soccer department, and was done in December. And I didn't want to go home. So I don't know why, that second semester there, I wasn't a reader. But I found myself almost every day at Barnes & Noble reading these books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and fell in love with this idea of investing in real estate. Never wanted to be a real estate agent, but I love the idea of investing in real estate. And I met a guy that summer that was in commercial real estate, told me, hey, go get your real estate license, come work for me for free. And okay, sure, yeah, why not? That obviously didn't work out. But I had my residential real estate license, and I was coaching at my old high school, coaching basketball, baseball, having fun. And, the next couple of years, I met one of the kids I was coaching. His mom had been in real estate for 20 years, and she told me about Keller, who, back then no one knew who Keller Williams was. Now they're the number one brokerage in the world. And I joined her team, and really, was just kind of slowly figuring out real estate. I was having more fun coaching, having more fun building up $100,000 in debt and credit cards. Got really good at that.
Sure.
But I did finagle, because I wanted to invest in real estate, and I was able to borrow money and bought a property at the the height of the market, perfect time to buy. And soon after, I was upside down about $50,000 and losing about $5,000 a year. And I'm racking up the credit card debt, not selling real estate, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I gotta figure this out. And I've got to either go get a job or figure out real estate. And so I knew I had this property that was upside down, and I had to learn that short sale process. And so I went and studied everything I could, bought a lot of books and figured out that process. And we started building our team off of the distressed market in short sales, because there were so many at that time of the market. And during that time, I didn't have money. I couldn't buy anything myself because I had a short sale on my record. But I was helping so many investors buy properties. And it was really frustrating because I couldn't take advantage of the market and buy those properties, didn't have money, and had a short sale on my record. And so for the first 10 years, I wasn't able to be an investor, wasn't able to take advantage of that, of why I got into the industry. And luckily, the next 7 years, I was able to save a little bit and buy 7 properties the normal way, 20% down. Nice. But after 17 years, I had 7 properties and didn't really feel like I was making any progress, and really wasn't working towards building financial success and passive income. And I know that whenever we hit a ceiling, right, I got to find another person. And so I found this 27-year-old kid who had flipped 40 homes and bought 27 with none of his money. And so I needed to learn this new way of investing, right? These 17 years, I mean, we built a really successful real estate team. We're selling 200 homes a year, top 10 in Virginia, and selling in Maryland also. And but I knew that to have financial success, I needed to figure out the investing piece. We were helping so many other clients build wealth. We weren't doing that for ourselves. And so I hired this kid. And like my first couple of years in real estate, I'm a slow learner, slow action taker, and was just learning everything I could from him for the first year. And so then the last 2 years, finally took action, started figuring it out, and we built an investment division, and where we flip homes, we renovate them, and then we either keep the property or we sell it. Very simple process, and we were able to, the last 2 years, we were able to flip 30 homes, and I was able to keep 16 of those homes with none of my money. We have private investors that we partner with, and really that's what we're excited about, right? We're helping a lot of other people start build wealth and go on this investment journey and learn that flipping process. And really, that's kind of why we're here today. This home in Adamstown was a flip project that went wrong, and I had to look at some backup options. And after a couple months of stress, finally landed on this Wizard's Escape idea.
It's so spacious, though. I mean, it only makes sense that you do something authentic with it. Yeah, it could be a B&B. I get it, but it's just got so many nooks and crannies in it. It reminds me of a place that my brother lived in. It was similar to this, but it was a coal mining house, and it had all these little
personality.
That house?
Yeah. So I've heard about Keller. I've heard Keller Williams Realty certainly now at this point of the stage. What is your team? What does 1245 mean, or what is that? So it's like the time 12:45, 1245 team.
It's what time I like to wake up in the morning.
Nice. You're like my teenagers.
Yeah, no,
in the summer.
When I started, what I realized early on, luckily, was no one succeeds alone, and it's not fun doing things alone. And when I realized that, and that there were other people way smarter and more talented than me, right? I knew we had to build a team and find people to partner with. And so really 1245 is something unique. I wanted something that stood out. 1245 is actually based on a Bible verse, Romans 12:4-5, which talks about teamwork. And so that's where that name came around.
We have now met a few of your team, and they are amazing. And I could see how you keep them and how they help you and you help them. So this property is old, I guess, authentic, and built in 1870. Do you know?
Or so they say.
Or so they say.
Yeah.
We think. Can you tell us a little about the history of the product? Maybe, I don't know, it has to have some kind of history.
Yeah, so I know a little history about it. I hadn't had a chance to really dive into it because I've been occupied with a million other things, which we'll talk about with this property. But from my understanding, so this guy named Adam Clowenberg owned this home, and actually he owned all of Adamstown. Adamstown is named after.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
So pretty interesting, fact that we found out there. Obviously, it was a much smaller home. People have added on to it throughout the years. And the previous owner, Mr. Shook, he actually subdivided the land, built homes on either side for his kids, and his kids live here now. Mr. Shook was a avid auctioneer. Maybe not auctioneer, but he bought stuff at auctions.
Yeah.
And so he's still alive, but they moved out of the area, and his kids really just didn't want, it was too much of a project. They didn't want anything to do with this home. Sure. I mean, they're literally, when we bought it, you could barely walk through. And this is a 7,000 square foot home, and you could just imagine, like, there was 20,000 teacup sets.
Wow.
Like, every nook and cranny, we kept finding teacup sets. His wife loved teacup sets. And so he used to go to auctions all the time and bought everything. Like, we had 15 estate sales to sell everything after, and we had people coming up to us telling us that I used to lose to Mr. Shook all the time at the auctions because he always had to win. So there was over probably $400,000 worth of items in here, and the kids really didn't know what to do, and I came along, and I'm probably the only stupidest person in the world to take on a project like this, and
it was quite an undertaking.
I thought the hardest part of this whole thing was going to be selling everything. And we had about 14 estate sales. After the first 2 or 3, we literally did not make a dent in the items.
Wow.
And I cried and just from trying to figure out how the heck we're going to get rid of all this stuff, because literally at that time would have been cheaper for me just to throw it all away in a dumpster. We probably did about 30 to 40 dumpsters of just trash, and then we had all this good stuff. And so while we were doing these estate sales, right, we're renovating the home. It's a historical home. It's got a lot of character and a lot of issues that, aren't seen, and things that can cost a lot of money. And so we're renovating it, having estate sales, having fun. We probably had about 1,000 people through here. And then we attempted to sell the home.
With no real buyer?
So we had it fixed up. We had basically everything sold, and the extra junk into the garage, and so we put it on the market, right? Because when I bought it, right, we're in the middle of Adamstown. Like, it's not really a market for an Airbnb, and so that was really never even on my radar. So I was really kind of stuck into one option of selling it, and so we put it on the market, and we sat. We sat some more, a couple months on the market, and couldn't sell it. And I was now even more stressed trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with this home. And instead of just bleed money and lose my investors' money and throw away $50,000 to $100,000 and fire sale it, right? And so we started looking into all kinds of options. I thought I was going to get into the wedding business. But then I found out that since it's residential, I could only do one wedding a year. And then we were going to subdivide, build a home on the other part of the lot, but it was going to cost about $50,000 to get the plans drawn up for a maybe. And so really I was kind of out of options. Couldn't do a country inn or bed and breakfast. There's too many regulations in Frederick County around that, and was kind of out of options.
Wow.
No hidden treasures and all this stuff that was sitting in this house when you were trying to get rid of it all? No.
I kept an eye on my contractors and was trying to make sure they weren't stealing any of the gold bars or anything like that. But, no, nothing. I mean, I'm sure some of the people that bought stuff, made some money off of it, but I don't think there was anything.
That's you didn't have the time or the patience probably to go.
So who came up with the Harry Potter idea, and why'd you decide to run with that?
Yeah, so I'll take back to a little bit. So I like the Harry Potter movies, and the funny thing is I don't watch movies twice. But this Harry Potter series, I've got kids, 11, 9, and 4, and every November we watch the Harry Potter series.
Nice.
And so I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'm not a fanatic. I don't know a ton about the movie, although I've been learning a lot the last year. And so this is kind of the events that happened, right? So last year, November, we're watching the movie, and then I decided I want to take my girls to New York and watch the 8th part of the movie and go see the play, The Cursed Child. Mm-hmm. So we went to New York, watched the play. It was awesome. They have some 3D thing there in New York, also some sort of like ride type thing that was out of this world. We come back, and a week later, they had the Forbidden Forest in Leesburg.
Yeah, my daughter went to that.
And so we are all engulfed in this Harry Potter world for a month or two, and I came back from the Forbidden Forest. I was like, you know what? This playroom in our house needs some extra stuff. So we actually built a little Harry Potter Christmas tree and bought a bunch of items and built a little Harry Potter room there, which is fun. And January comes along, and I still can't sell this house. And I'm looking at all these different options that we talked about. And it was probably sometime in late January. One of our operations girls sent me this Airbnb photos, video of this Airbnb in Orlando, and in Champion Gate, a neighborhood in Orlando, and it was amazingly decked out in Harry Potter everything, and it was a cool video. And we had just come back from a conference where we stayed in Champion Gate. And I was joking with her, and I told her, I was like, oh man, why didn't you get us that house instead of the other one? Right? And obviously, this one with the Harry Potter stuff probably was like $500-$600 a night. So I had that in my mind, and at this point, I'm in with the home, not really, basically out of options. And so I started thinking, my only option is, I can't rent it for $6,000-$7,000 a month, so my only option is to figure out this Airbnb. Mm-hmm. Well, I still had a lot of stuff from the house that I could potentially stage the home, but it was going to be a mishmash of just weird stuff, right? Like a president's room, So as I was kind of thinking that out, I was like, this is not going to draw people to the middle of Adamstown for this. And that's when it hit me. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go down, I've got to go down with Harry Potter.
You're going down big.
And the home just, I think, really sits really well with that. So we took this, wizards and witches theme and really kind of designed the house that I think is pretty magical.
I mean, you honestly got to see it to like really appreciate it. It's
we just had a tour, and it was.
We'll have some
extensive.
Pictures up on our TikTok, too. So
it's crazy.
Some video. I'll make a little.
Phase 1 is done, and I think it would be a 2-hour podcast if you went through every nook and cranny. But can you tell us about some of your rooms? Maybe you could list all of them. I don't know. Even the bedrooms are decked out, but kind of some of the game room and the kitchen, and tell us about some of the rooms.
We wanted the house to flow a little bit, have a little bit of flow to it, from based on some inspiration from some of the movies, and try to put a little bit of our spin on it too. And I'm not going to give away all the surprises, but
but there is an escape room.
There is an escape room, which I have.
Say that.
I have, and I think that's my favorite rooms is we have the potion room and the black family room. They're combined. There's an opening in between too. They're both beautifully decorated, and I have fallen in love with escape rooms since those started probably 8-9 years ago, and so I wanted to create an escape room, and we tested it out, and I think it's really good. We've had a lot of feedback, a lot of great feedback that it's pretty comparable to some of the ones in the area, and I've been to a lot throughout the country. So that was fun to build, and the guests that have been staying here have loved it. But I think those are my favorite rooms is the potion room, black room combined. But we have got a large, I guess you could call it a great hall that people have done birthdays, different events in there. We've
Was
got
that in the basement, the one with the big long tables?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is that was like,
Yeah.
I like you. I read all the books and then I watched all the movies, and I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'm not a fanatic. I couldn't win in trivia or anything like that. But when I saw that room, you really, really did well with that. Not that the rest of the house isn't well, but like just the layout of it, and
just the detail in each room.
Yeah. Well thought.
Very good.
Yeah, we've got a game room in the basement. We've got a couple rooms that we are going to be expanding on probably next year. Right now, the home is five bedrooms and sleeps 15 people. So we're hoping we've got a couple areas that we can expand and create some dorm room type stuff, and we've got some different inspirations for that we're going to expand probably next year, and we're looking to add a second escape room upstairs, which will be fun too. But
is that built into the cost? Like if I come here and stay, is that built right into the cost?
Yeah. So the escape room's all self-run. So they if they need clues, they'll go to a website and they can get hints or clues, and actually they can it'll actually show them how to reset the escape room, so they can if they have a large group, they can do it in 2 groups and reset it.
Excellent.
It's been a lot of fun. We created a scavenger hunt that takes the kids probably 2 to 3 hours throughout the house to try to find all these items. So lots to do, to keep busy.
I was thinking, how did you do the escape room? Because we recently we had our first experience at Sherlock Inn Escape Games down on Market Street.
Yeah.
And you can have the people come in to help you. That man came in 3 times. I was lost. Our daughter did the best, but
we've had some really avid escape room people come through, and the best was someone said, we're taking people at their word because they're going on the website looking at the hints and clues.
Sure.
But was 2. We've had 2 groups just need 2 hints.
Wow.
To go through it in an hour.
If it was just me, I'd need like 50 hints. I can't.
You'd be waving the red flag.
I couldn't process that.
Who are you kidding?
Okay, back to the house. You have the library.
Yep. So we did. We pulled all the tricks and put a lot of wallpaper up to make the place look authentic. Yeah. So we got a library that's all Wizards games and movies and chess. So there's a lot of different items to play with and keep the kids busy. What's
the minimal night stay that if I want to come here and bring a bunch of people with me, how many do I have to stay? 2 nights? Can I stay?
Yeah. Okay. So we on weekends, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday is 2-night minimum. And during the week, it's 1 night. So during the week, a lot of times we have people that will do birthday parties. We actually had my daughter's 11th birthday party here. Was a lot of fun. People will just rent it out for the day, do a birthday party. It's pretty comparable if you compared to some of the other birthday places, and you get it for 20, almost 24 hours. So
Don't forget to mention your awesome pool right outside.
Yep, that costs a lot of money to get back and looking good. But the pool's open May to September. People have been loving sitting out there and letting the kids play in the pool.
Yeah, I saw you have a nice cover on it too, so it probably stays nice and warm.
Yep, solar cover. Yep. Yeah.
I know somebody just had. Well, they live in New York. They had a wedding shower, and it was Harry Potter themed, like the cookies and the different thing for a wedding shower. So I think an event like that or any kind of birthday. Well, I saw pictures of
We had
kids'
we had an
birthday.
engagement party already.
Right.
A couple weeks ago. Birthday parties, a lot of reunions, a lot of people. It's a big enough home to. I mean, we've had a couple groups that probably had never even seen a movie, but just the house fits their family to come together.
It'll sleep a lot. So even if I came into town, even if I was going to a wedding or something nearby, you could have half your family stay here. It's very large.
Yeah.
How do we book the place? Website, social media. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I mean, you can find us in some more pictures and video on Instagram and Facebook if you just search Wizards Escape. Also, if you go to our website, we are on Airbnb, but if you want to save a little bit of money on fees, you can book direct. If you go to our website, 1245team.com/rental. That's 1245team.com/rental. You'll actually see a list of a couple of our Airbnbs throughout Virginia, Maryland, and then it'll have this one there, and you can kind of see the calendar. Obviously, email me, text me, and we can book direct to save on fees.
Do you have some local places? Let's kind of backtrack for 1 second. Some local places, if I don't want to cook or I don't want to cook every meal, that will bring food out to you here, or I can get and bring back.
So we are 10 minutes from downtown Frederick. We're 10 minutes from Urbana. So there's lots of restaurants, grocery stores, and you can walk to the pizza place right on the corner.
Oh, we saw that.
They're actually really good. I've eaten there a lot of
The building,
times.
it looks like a jail. What was that building?
It used to be a bank.
Have a story.
Used to be a bank.
It was a bank. Okay,
Yeah,
I was saying it's got all the windows.
Yeah,
have,
it's actually
bars on them.
really good and authentic.
That would explain it.
Yeah.
That would
That's the closest thing. Otherwise, you're driving 10 minutes or getting Uber,
Which is not bad.
or Uber
Which is
Eats.
not bad.
You have a great property here too. There's gardens, and so you have a phase 2 in the works, or the thought process, even phase 3.
We're thinking about it. We've got a
Working on
couple
the
different
in
options.
and
It's on
out.
3 acres, so there could be more stuff added in the future. So we're thinking about it.
Excellent.
Good. Any other questions, Mark?
No, ladies, give it a shout out. You're here.
Come on. Say hello. Oh, good. Thank you, Nate. It was a pleasure to be here,
awesome.
and thanks for
Awesome
the tour.
meeting you. Thank you for the tour.
Thanks
and
for-
best of luck with it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you not being busy with this place. It's really, really authentic, and you've done a spectacular job.
It's a lot of fun, and thanks for letting us tell the story.
Absolutely. This place was tremendous, and we want to thank Nate for taking us through it and telling us all about what actually led him into opening Wizards Escape. And we are looking forward to the exciting growth of the place going forward. You can find their website at an Airbnb, so just Google Wizards Escape. The address of the place is 2772 Washington Street in Adamstown, Maryland, and their phone number 703-725-2929. You can also email Nate for a better rate on a stay. His email is nate@1245team.com. Follow and connect with us here on the Steeples and Peoples podcast by checking out our website, steeplesandpeoples.com. You can listen to us anywhere the podcasts are, but you should download that Listen Frederick app, sponsored by Manning Media. Like our Facebook page at Steeples&Peoples. Join the conversation about us on Steeples on Twitter. Reach out to us at Snapchat at Steeples Peoples. You can also follow us on Instagram, watch our TikTok, and view episodes, good episodes, on YouTube. Those are all Steeples and Peoples. Feel free to let us know if you have any comments, questions, suggestions for future guests, if you are even interested in advertising through us by emailing us at steeplesandpeoples@gmail.com. Thanks for doing our voice intro and outro to Steve Medley.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us to find out what's going on in all things Frederick County, Maryland. And join our Facebook group to enter our weekly giveaways at Steeples and Peoples.